You ready, Chris?
You ready, Ben?
Let's get it.
Let's go.
Wait a minute. Did they forget us?
Oh, snap. What's up, Stacey?
Hold
and Maria?
on.
Yeah.
Welcome, Maria. Y'all ready?
We're ready.
Let's get it.
Let's go. Let's do this.
Welcome to the Follow and Lead episode 2022. We are here with your boy Ben Baines. We have Stacey Chwangem. We have Isaiah Baines. And then we have our special guest here, 6 Fit's own Ric Elien.
Elien.
Okay.
There you go.
Ric Elien.
There you go. Oh
Welcome.
my gosh.
Welcome.
Never fails. Never fails.
How you doing, man?
Man, I'm good. I'm blessed. I'm great. Today's Sunday. It's a relaxing day. It's hot.
Yeah.
But we're good. We're here.
Amen.
We're
Surviving
here.
the heat wave.
I know, right?
How you guys doing?
Good.
I'm good.
Doing great.
Yeah.
It's hot.
It's really hot.
It's hot.
It's hot in here, too.
It is.
it's about
It's
to
all right.
be
It's
5
going to change
degrees.
real quick. It's going to change soon. We're waiting for the...
This is where the bald heads come in play.
Yes. Listen,
we're
shout
all
out to bald
bald.
heads. We out here.
Shout out to
We really are all bald.
Oh God,
Sorry, Isaiah.
I like my hair.
Listen, we didn't say we didn't like hair, but also
Yo, it helps drawing when it's hot.
when it's
You
hot,
gotta worry about nothing.
nothing.
Just let us.
You gotta
Yeah,
catch
this sweat's a
sweat,
little
though.
different. I'm not going to lie, but it's cool.
Just
I don't
gotta
mind
get a
it.
sweatband.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it helps to. It's not
Prevent
drawing down
That's
to
what
your
that's
eyes.
why I'll
Because
never have.
My hair blocks it, but y'all, it just goes down.
See, I don't have that. Mine just stays there, and I'm like, what is happening? And I'm like, oh, my scalp is literally sweating now.
Literally.
Yeah, it's a very interesting experience.
Well, what I'll say to you is take care of your hair.
That part.
You know, don't dry it out by just using shampoo.
Ooh.
You have to put stuff in it. Especially now as you're younger. I didn't learn that until I was like mid-20s.
Why does
I
that
had
happen?
dry scalp.
Why does that happen
Nobody
to young
taught
men?
me.
It's so sad. That's
Nobody
why I try
told
to
me.
teach styles as much
Yeah.
as I can.
He was like, oh, did you put stuff in your hair? I was like, yeah, shampoo. What do you mean?
That's it. Yeah.
They're like wondering why my hair is so dry. I thought I had like scalp psoriasis. I was going to like the dermatologist. I had no idea. I was like 24, 25.
That stinks.
And then they were like, they tried to give me some treatment. My barber was the one that was like, bro, like, what are you doing to your hair? It's just like breaking off. It's dry. I was like, nothing. Like, what am I supposed to do? He's like, oil, conditioner,
Moisturizer.
something, moisturizer.
Yep.
And I survived until I was, what, 33.
Okay.
And then it was like,
It's time.
yeah.
It's time.
So, all right. So, first question that we have for you is, what was your childhood like, Rick?
What was my childhood like? Well, I grew up in Dorchester. You know, my father passed away when I was 14 months old, so it was just me and my mom. Literally just me and my mom. Lived in Dorchester, Phil's Corner to be exact. Grew up with my cousins, and at one point in the house it was me, my aunt and uncle, my cousins, and then they moved away, and then it became me, my mom, and then my godfather, his wife, and they had 2 kids, and then they ended up having triplets. And it was like, okay, this house is a little too small for the apartment's a little too small for the rest for all of us. So we moved downstairs, and it was upstairs. So it was just me and my mom's from there out for the most part. So my childhood was tough. It was tough growing up, you know, first generation Haitian American here in America, and having to know the language when you're little, but your parent doesn't know the language, and they're trying to navigate, and you're having to grow up older because you're the one translating certain things. Luckily, I did have an older cousin, you know, who helped out a lot. But for the most part, it was, okay, you speak English. I need your help. I need you to translate. I didn't always want to, but, you know, that was what it was. But growing up, you know, like I said, I grew up in Dorchester. It was tough. My mom's in, you know, you can't go outside. You can't do this. You got to stay inside the house and whatnot. So it was tough. I got a lot of beatings. I was bad. I will admit I was bad. Got a lot of beatings. A lot of beatings, I say.
Emphasis on a lot.
A lot. Nah, I'm dead ass. A lot. But you know, I was just your typical kid, just mischievous. Got got into things I probably shouldn't have got into, but I grew up. I got a lot of beatings. Went to St. Kevin's on Columbia Road for 8 years. For first year, 8 years elementary school. It was cool, you know. Went to school with like pretty much the same 30 kids that went in from first grade, graduated 8th grade. You know, just you learn as a kid. You take the bus, you take the T, you walk to school. If you miss the bus, because you know you got to get to school. However, means necessary, because I can't tell my parent, oh yeah, I missed the bus and I didn't go to school. What do you mean? So I didn't want a beating, so I had to go. Had to figure it out. It was my childhood wasn't. It was cool. There was moments where it's like, you know, it sucked being an only child, because it's like, all right, who do I turn to? I was blessed to have many cousins, and just hanging out with my cousins helped a lot. But at the end of the day, it still sucked because you went home to yourself. And my mom worked a lot. She worked doubles. Sundays she went to work from 6, left for 6 a.m., didn't get home till after 11. So home by myself. I was a latchkey kid, so my uncles would come in checking on me every now and then, but for the most part, Sundays I was home by myself. School vacations, I was home by myself. So it was like, it's me and the TV. We're friends. We're making this happen. Sometimes I would, you know, spend some summer days out at cousin spots. My uncle moved to Brockton, so I would spend, you know, a couple weeks in Brockton. I had my other uncle who was in Dorchester, spent his time at his house. My godfather would spend time at his house, but it's just like, you know, you still end up going home to yourself. You know, I was bullied. Per usual, you know, island kid, Haitians wasn't it at that moment, so it was tough, you know, people making fun of you. You take it, deal with it. You grow up, like I said, you end up growing fast because you gotta just fend for yourself and know, like, okay, I'm not getting punked every day, but I'm gonna make it do so I don't get punked every day. But it was, like I said, it was tough because it's not like I'm going home and my mom, not saying we had a language barrier, but she did the best she could with what she could, in the sense that it wasn't like she was asking me every day how your day was. She asked me, I said, okay, it was okay. That was end of story. She went about her business, I went about mine. So it was like, we had you know, growing up Haitians parents, old school Haitian parents don't say I love you. They show you they love you. So it's like, I've never heard my mom say it to me. I can't tell you this now that I've ever heard her say, you know, to me. She says it to my kids all the time. I love hearing it from her saying it to my kids, but it's like, okay, I would love to hear it too, but I didn't really hear it. It's just like, I like you. But I knew my mom loved me just based off what she did for me, but it was, in that aspect, it was tough. So, you know, that there's an emotional blockage there. We were very spiritual Seventh-day Adventists, went to church every Saturday, you know, so that was cool. Went to church at Berea, Seaver Street. So again, my mom was the first person at church, one of the first people at church, first person to be out. So it's like, still not really making friends, but you got to be out, you know. So most of my friends growing up was my cousins, and I'm appreciative of my cousins and just having them. At the age of 13, 14, graduated elementary school. We moved out to Brockton to be closer to my uncle. So that's her brother. Best thing that happened to me, because then I got to be next to my cousin, who was a little younger than me, like a year younger than me, but we're like brothers. You know what I mean? We held each other down and went to Avon High. Different dynamic, going from, you know, growing up in the hood and then going to Avon, where you're like, oh, it's less of us and more of them. And it was kind of not necessarily a shelter shock, but definitely different. But, you know, growing up in Brockton wasn't too bad. Again, saw mostly black people. We all took the bat bus together to go back and forth between school. So it was cool. Graduated. I don't want to age myself. I graduated in 2000, whatever, and then you know, everybody's big on the what was it that time?
The Y2K.
Y2K movement. Yeah.
We thought as soon as the clock struck midnight, we was all dying.
All dying. So, you know, all that was there, but graduated Avon, pretty good school. Played sports appreciate, like, I think going to a small school helped me, because I went for, like, elementary school was already small as it is, and then high school was small, so that was good in the sense that, you know, I got to find myself a little bit, but wasn't the popular kid, but I still played sports, which was good, so it kind of got me out of my shell. Grew up a shy kid, so from there went to University of Rhode Island, which was a definite culture shock, because I went from, you know, how I, like, I'm predominantly,
you progressively moved away.
Yeah. Moved away from the hood, and it's just like, yo, at URI I was part of the 4%, 5% black kids, and you're like, yo, there's a lot of them and not a lot of us. And that was definitely a culture shock, because it's like, okay, I ain't got nobody tell me I gotta go to class. Okay, I'm not gonna go to class. You know, you don't, these things aren't taught to us, like, okay, supporting, you got a scholarship, you don't want to lose your scholarship, you need to go to class, you need to make sure you do X, Y, Z. So it's like, I think I was literally the third person in my family at that time that went to college. So it's like, to our family, it's big that you're going to college, but I didn't like school. I was there, I went, but it wasn't my thing, but I knew I had to do what I needed to do, because that's what our parents told us to do. So first semester, I'm on academic probation. I'm being told, if you fail out, you're done. I'm like, wait, huh? Come again? Like, again, it's at that moment, it resonated. Like, I got to go to class. I got my report card. My mom was like, what are you doing? What am I paying all this money for you to go fail out of class? I was like, oh, no, I got to tighten up. Was able to, from there, was like, all right, this is real life. Like, you know, like, I got to go to class. I got to do what I got to do. I got to be an adult in some respects. Was able to get grades back up, graduated URI. I busted my butt to make sure I graduated, because that's one thing with Haitian parents. They're like, if you tell them you need to stay longer in school, they're like, why? College is only 4 years. Why are you staying longer? So I couldn't explain why I needed to stay longer, knowing that it was because my fault, because of being on academic probation. So again, I busted my butt. My last 4 semesters, I took 22 credits.
Wow.
Because I was like, I'm doing what I need to do to get out of here. Because I can't explain why I need to go an extra year, and that's just, you know, to them that's just more money. I graduated URI with a degree in kinesiology. Really didn't know what I wanted to do with it. It was just, I just wanted to get a degree and be out. And from there, like I said, I did an internship for a physical therapy office. I hated it. It was boring. It's like, I don't want to do this. And at the time, I didn't want to be home, because, you know, you spend 4 years away from home. You're like, that's freedom. I don't want to go back home being stuck here and being told, you know, when to come in, come out. Haitian parents don't view you as an adult until you're dead. So it's like, I don't want to do that. So from there, it was like, okay, I had a girlfriend at the time. She went to a small school in Worcester. I was like, I'm going to enroll and just go there and just hang out.
I'm sorry, you enrolled?
I enrolled.
You enrolled to Worcester State?
No. I enrolled to a small school, Atlantic Union College.
Okay.
And I just was like, I needed to not to be home, I was going to do.
Wow.
And my mom's like, why are you going to school again? I was like, because I made up some story. Shit. That's the only good thing with having foreign parents. They don't know a lot of things. So it's like, they take your word because, okay, you're born here, you speak English, you must know better than I do. I just knew I just needed to kill some time. Make it make sense? It doesn't, because it's like, that's just more loans. That's just more money. But I just know I didn't want to be home. But I honestly felt like that was necessary. It was, when I look back at it, I spent 2 years there. Spending 2 years at AUC made me who I am today, because it made me grow up. Because I wasn't living on campus, so I had to get an apartment. I worked 3 jobs on top of going to classes. So it's like, you got rent to do, your car insurance is due. I'm not calling moms to tell me like, hey, I need money for X, Y, Z. No, I'm making it happen however I can, because I can't go back home and I can't fail at this. So like I said, it was just literally, by any means necessary, we're gonna make this happen. I don't know how much y'all want me to keep going.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
okay, I'm trying to backtrack because you gave us so much that I had so many questions as you were talking. I was like, wow, this is a lot of, I think there's a lot of pressure that you probably went through from childhood, just because of the circumstance that you were dealt. And that tends to happen to a lot of children of immigrant parents. But the way you describe your mom, she seemed extremely resilient. And she seemed as though she had to push through a lot in some way, shape, or form.
She definitely did.
And I feel like that in itself also like showed you a lot. That type of what's the word? Gratuitiveness, however they say it, is like, I think it's part of his genetic too. I really do. So what are some positive things or negative things you may have learned from your mom, watching her resiliency and some other things that you may have experienced growing up?
So positives, like you said, she's resilient. My mom is tough. You know what I mean? She can do a lot of things that men can do, and she's just tough. But that toughness also, in the negative aspect, lacks the emotional, the love, the empathy, the sympathetic aspect. But she was sometimes too tough. And it's like, okay, I'm gonna raise this young man in America. He's black. I gotta make sure he comes out good. But she was tough on me, and it's like, sometimes I didn't need that. I didn't want to be that tough love. I needed like gentle love, and she didn't know how to do gentle love. Because at the end of the day, even herself, she had a tough childhood. Because she's one of like 14, 15 kids, and she was the second oldest, but the firstborn girl. So she was in essence like a second mother to all her siblings. You know what I mean? So that made her grow up quick. So she didn't even have her own childhood in the sense. So it's like she was not necessarily taking away mine, but she was just sometimes just like, yo, I need a break. Like when I said I got a lot of beatings, I got a lot of beatings, and not in a bad way. It's nothing like where it was malicious or anything. It's just, some of it I deserved. I put myself in those predicaments. Like you like, was that cause and effect, the consequences of your actions? I get it, but it was just like, yo, sometimes I just needed that person to speak to. Hey, I'm going through XYZ. Like if I'm being bullied at school or church or whatever, I didn't know how to like verbalize that to her. It was just like, you got to deal with this and figure it out on your own. She wasn't that person that I can go to have that conversation and be like, hey, I'm going through this. I'm suffering through this. I need you. How can I overcome this? I think the positive, like I said, my mom was tough, so it showed me a lot of, even in myself, resiliency. But I realized, so like in everything that she did, she had faith. You know what I mean? She everything she did was able to do in life was off a nurse's aid salary. Nurse's aid get paid like chips. You know what I mean? But she made it through. She was able to buy her first house off of that. You know what I mean? So she showed me that you save your money, you do what you know how to do, and you do what you got to do for your family, no matter what. You sacrifice, whether that's working doubles, working overnights, whatever, working, skipping out on vacations to work. You know what I mean? Just so I can make a better life for my kids. She's going to do that. But like I said, to me, those are all the positive aspects. The negative is just like, she was a workaholic. So it was like, there was not a lot of time where we spent together talking. And I think that's things even nowadays where it's like, we have that love for each other, but sometimes it's hard to have that communication because there's always been that gap, that lack of communication. So it's like, okay, like I said, even now my mom still can't tell me she loves me. I know she does, but she can't verbalize it. She can't verbalize those type of emotions. So I think that's where the negative aspect comes into play.
I have a question. Who are 3 people who have been the most influential in your life?
So 3 people that have been the most influential. I would say, again, my mom is first. And I've kind of already expressed that. But secondly would be my uncle, her brother. Between my uncle and my godfather, they showed me how to be a man. In essence, even though I didn't have a father around, like I was around them enough to see, and they treated me like I was their own. Like I said, even though at the end of the day I always went back home to mine, but that when I was with them, they treated me like I was their own. And I think that goes a long way because you at least feel like you're wanted by somebody. You know what I mean? So they took care of me. If they was getting something for their kids, they got it for me too. You know, so I didn't feel left out. If my uncle was going to a trip, whether it was Florida or whatever, I was able to tag along and go with it. Same thing with my godfather. He took me, so I never felt left out. But I got to see how it was to be a man from them too. My uncle's been married for 47 years. You know what I mean? And seeing how he and his wife have, you know, battle tested, and the way they lived and loved each other, they were each other's sweethearts. You know what I mean? So seeing that gave me the aspirations. Like, I want that. I want a marriage like that. Same thing with my godfather. He's been married for over 35 years himself, and it's good to see because neither of them like stepped out. Nothing bad happened, and it was like, I want that. You know what I mean? And they were able to just set the bar and give me something to aspire to. But they were the ones that if I had something going on, that I could be like, hey, I'm going through this. How do I manage? How do I maneuver? But it's like, even like now, I wouldn't say I have a fear, but I have a respect for my uncle and my godfather. If they ask me to do something, I'm on top of it because it's coming from them. And, you know, they've always been there for me. So it's like, I'm going to always be there for them.
That's beautiful. That's actually really awesome because I don't think enough is spoken about. Especially when it comes to the marriage part, it's a lot of like women who've been married for X amount of years, but it's awesome to hear, this man has been married for X amount of years to his wife, and it's been, you know, a healthy, hardworking relationship, because we're not going to say that no bad happens. Good and bad happens regardless. So it's really awesome that you have two examples of that. So God was still faithful to show you that in the midst of your growing up as a young man. So what are some aspects of manhood outside of just marriage that you learned from them?
Just work hard. You know, you grind. I know sometimes the word grind has a negative connotation, but you work hard for your family. You do what you need to do to make sure your kids are good, because you're here. Yes, you know, we go through our lives where there's a period of time we have to be selfish. We're learning ourselves, and we're learning how to maneuver through this world, and there's selfish aspects, but they showed me, like, there comes a time where you need to leave that behind. You leave childish things behind, and you become a man, and you take care of your kids. Nobody else is going to do for your kids but you. You know, regardless of how life is, you got to do for your kids. It doesn't matter what type of job you're working, because my godfather, he was a taxi driver, and he worked his butt off to make sure, like, at one point he had 5 kids under the age of 5. And his wife didn't work. She stayed at home to take care of the kids, and he did what he needed to do to make sure his kids was good. Food was on the table. They had a roof over their heads, and he did what he needed to do. And same thing with my uncle. Like, they just busted their butts to make sure. They weren't educated. You know, they didn't come to America and go to school or anything like that. These are 2 foreign men who just came here, dealt with the card that was dealt to them, and made the best of the situation. So it's like, even in that sense, that resiliency where they're going to do what they need to do to care for and fend for their family.
That's dope. I think, like, to that point about, you know, as a man, you're going to do whatever you need to do for your family. And I think a lot of it, too, is like the generation before us didn't have all that we have now, right? They didn't have access or the finances or, you know, whatever that we, for the most part, have the capability of now. Especially like parents that have come from another country to come here, you know. I was watching a Father's Day message by T.D. Jakes. And it was like a panel, and this one kid was like asking him, like, you know, how come he wasn't there, you know, for me? He did everything he needed to do for us, like, as a man, but he wasn't there for me when I needed him. He said, and now at this point in his life, because father's getting older, he wants to be there for me emotionally. And T.D. Jakes said something that was like, it was so simple. It was like, you know, he did everything he was supposed to do, like he had to do. Like, as a man, you do what you're supposed to do for your family. As if I don't have the capacity, you know, especially that generation weren't taught the extra step of emotion and how to communicate and deal with all of that. But I think it comes with our maturity and our growth to understand it, right? Like, you did everything, like you said about your mom, like, you did everything you could, right? Within what was in your power to be there and do everything you needed to do for me. And so it's like it's that understanding of what they've done for you and the love that they showed for you, and also kind of the grace that what you feel like you needed emotionally, it just they didn't have it.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And giving them that grace, like, okay, I'm going to show you the love, even though you might not have been able to give it to me. I can give it to you because I'm aware of it and I'm somewhat equipped more than they were, right?
Absolutely.
Especially as men, like with our fathers, because we need more of it, right? We need that tough love. We need to show discipline. We need
it all.
We need it all, but we also need that tender side that will help
balance everything.
That balances it all out. Yeah. That was just my point, because you were talking about like your uncles and how they work hard, and I think that's just something that we miss. I think in society, we get really upset about what we didn't get from our fathers or how much they weren't there, and that was a growth within my life when I had to recognize from my stepfather how much he did for me. Because I was so mad about what he didn't do for me, the love that I didn't get from him. But he was that way with all his kids. But I took it like, you don't love me.
We miss out on a lot of opportunities because we look for the things that we don't have.
Yeah.
And instead of accepting what we do have and embracing it and appreciating it in that moment, like, you know, we're never sure why we don't get what we don't get when we don't get it. But you ever go and you go look back and be like, okay, I see why I didn't get that. It was necessary for me to be able to grow. It was necessary for me to learn and to be a better person. But we spend a lot of time focusing on what we didn't have. Like I said, growing up without a father was tough. I hated Father's Day. Hated it. Hated seeing other kids doing like father son things. Like I hated it because I didn't have that. You know what I mean? And sometimes it killed. And it was just like, yo, I know my life would have been different had he been there, but it wasn't his fault. He passed away. You know, it's not like he abandoned me. So I never blame my father for anything. I don't blame God. It's just circumstance. It's just the cards that I was dealt with, and I dealt with it. But I hated those days, and I because of those days, I'm like, yo, I can't wait to be a father because I'm going to do everything I can to be present, no matter what the circumstance is. You know, but again, I could have looked at that situation differently and be like, okay, I don't have a father, so because of that, I'm going to dwell on that. But I didn't allow that to affect where my path was headed.
Yeah, and you would lose the relationship with your uncles and
Correct.
cousins, you know what I mean? You would lose all of that. And I think that's what I learned in those circumstances. I think now, too, like you mentioned, like being grateful about what you did have, I look back and I cherish it. Like, I cherish everything that I learned from him, even though it wasn't like, oh, that father-son bond. Like, no, he gave me all the tools I needed to know how to be a man. So with that, with your uncles, you know, and what we've just talked about as far as like learning from men, like what would you say is manhood from all of that?
What is manhood? It's a very heavy loaded question. What is manhood?
Or maybe if it's easier, you have sons.
Yeah, I have one son.
So you have a son.
Yep.
What would you teach your son about manhood?
What would I teach my son on how to be a man?
Yeah.
First and foremost, putting your trust and faith in God. Secondly, being kind to your mother, kind to your sisters, kind to everybody in a sense, because you reap what you sow. You know what I mean? If you do good, good should come back. But you're not doing good for good to come back. You're just doing good just to be good, a good person. You know what I mean? So when I teach him to do things with love. And what I love about my son is he's great, to be honest. What I love about him is the fact that he is very caring, very understanding. What I love is the weeks. So I don't have my kids every week. I share custody with my ex, so I get them for a week and she has them for another week. But the weeks that I'm not with them, my girls love me and I know it. But they could care less if they don't see me for the week. They're like, we'll see daddy when we see daddy. But my son is different. He'll call me, like, daddy, I'm calling to see how you doing. And this is an 8-year-old, and he's been doing this since he was 6. You know what I mean? He'll call, daddy, I'm calling to see how you doing. How's your day? How many clients did you see today? I'm like, what 8-year-old cares how many clients I saw today?
Yeah.
Before he leaves, daddy, I love you. Can you tell grandma I love her? And it's like, I know a lot of that is he's seeing because how he sees me regardless of, I'm not with their mother, he sees that I treat her with respect. He sees that the respect that I show my mother. So he's watching me, so I'm teaching him how to, as a man, you have to be respectful of other people. You're once, if you're kind to people will be kind to you, but he's already has that ingrained, and he has a love for God that I'm glad that he has. It's kind of almost the same. Like watching him, he allows me to see how I was as a kid. You know what I mean? Because I see a lot of things and I'm like, yo, I did that stuff. You know what I mean? And then what I think what I love even more is watching his relationship with my mother, because then it definitely gives me a viewpoint of how she was with me as well, and how much he has a love for her. When like his sisters, they can get into arguments with my mother, but he'll go to grandma, you okay? Can I give you a hug? He's trying to keep the peace, you know what I mean, with her, and she loves that about him. And in his mind, he's like, I know I'm the favorite. You know what I mean? But it's just great to see the young man that he's starting to become already. And I know a lot of it is just he's just watching me. I know he knows about being hard work. He's lazy though. I ain't gonna lie. We got to work
young
on
boy
that.
though.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Isaiah can resonate with that.
I'm lazy all the time.
So, but
Young
that's to me is like a rite of passage for young men. We have our moments where we're really lazy, but he's still hardworking, very good student. I was a good student in school too, so that he gets from both me and his mother on being smart. So it's just manhood to me is just teaching him how to navigate through life the right way, having the proper tools, having a respect for authority, but being mindful that they should not disrespect you in any way, and knowing that just because you're a black boy doesn't mean you deserve to be treated any different from anybody else. So standing up for yourself, standing up for your sisters, because I've seen him when he was like 5. A boy would pick on his older sister. He'd be like, hey, yo, you gotta, stop. You know what I mean? He knows he can't beat that. He may not be able to beat that boy up, but he's gonna stand up for his sister. He's gonna step up. And those are things like, as a man, you want your kid to know, like, yes, you can use your force when you need to, but there's a time and place. Don't just use it just because you have it. You know what I mean? And teaching him how to be loving to his sisters. Sometimes they get into spits and spats, but teaching him like, yo, we don't put our hands on women. Be respectful, and this is your little sister. You got to take care of her the same way you got to take care of your older sister. So just teaching them how to be a good man and hopefully a good husband one day to somebody.
You mentioned first thing, teaching him to have faith and trust in God. So what is faith to you?
Faith to me is, listen, I have this thing where I sometimes carry around a little I can't even, like a little jar, has like 7 mustard seeds in it. And I carry it around because it's a reminder to me that, I believe Matthew 17:20, where it says, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can move mountains. So for me, faith is, I just need a little bit of that faith, and I could do anything. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna be president or nothing like that, but I could do anything that God has willed for me to do. Coming from where I am to being where I am, I wouldn't have never. It's not me. I tell people all the time, like, being 6 foot, that's God. Where 6 foot is all God. I'm just following the lead. But that's just me trusting him and having him. Cute plug. I know.
That was good. That was great. That was really good.
So it's just me just having faith and knowing that this is the purpose and God has for my life, and I'm headed towards that way. But it's just trusting him in every sense of the way, because if you told me 5-10 years ago this is where I'd be, I'm like, nah, I didn't foresee this. This was not in my future. This was in my thoughts or where things would be. As I progressed, I saw the vision clearer, but I trusted God to lead the way, and for me to have faith that he would take care of me no matter what the situation was. I'd be all right.
What did you foresee?
I don't know, to be honest. You know how you just fake it till you make it?
One step at a time.
One step at a time. I don't know, because when I graduated college, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I wasn't sure what the future held. I was just going with the motions and be like, all right, whatever comes my way. I knew you go to work, you wake up every day, you go to work and make do. That's why I said, like, where I'm at right now is not what I thought, because figured I'd be in a 9 to 5 and just go from there and live life, have a family, have a wife and kids, and then just figure things out. But I didn't know I'd be an entrepreneur. You know, like when I look at my mom tells me all the time, she's like, when I look at you, I envisioned you wearing suits and ties to go to work, not shorts and sweats. And I laugh at her because I'm like, I'm great. I'm glad you had that vision for me, but that's not the vision that I wanted for myself. You know, because she wanted me to be a pastor. That's not my calling.
Your ministry is in a different direction.
Different direction. Way different direction.
Can you describe to the people who don't know what is 6 Fit?
What is 6 Fit? Well, now, 6 Fit is a gym. It's a fitness. It's a brand. It's a way of life. It's a mentality. Like I tell people, okay, people ask me, what does 6 Fit mean? We have 6 major components of our body. We have, out of order, but whatever. We have our chest, we have our back, we have our legs, we have our arms, we have our core. But without your mind, which is the 6th muscle, without your mind, cannot accomplish or get those other parts to be where they need to be. So to be 6 Fit is to be mentally strong. Ben knows.
Yeah, man.
You gotta be mentally.
He's seen how far I've come mentally.
I feel like I put my clients through some mental.
He does. I just like to confirm that.
And I love it.
Turmoil, because I know I'm gonna push your buttons, and I'm not. Ben will tell you I never yell at anybody. It's not my way, you know. But I'm gonna push you, and I'm gonna do it with a smile. And because of the smile, I think that agitates the person even more.
Absolutely.
Because it's like, here's this dude just sitting here chilling. Yep. And he's telling me what to do. And he's got a smile on his face.
That's right.
I'm tired. It's been a long day. This hour seems like it's gone on forever. But I'm going to push. And I know I just want people to have a positive mindset. Like, I see the silver lining in everything in life, no matter what the circumstance, no matter how bad it is. So it's the same way. I just want you guys, everybody, to just have a positive mindset through everything. Because if you can conquer the mind, you can conquer anything. Our mind is what sets us back. We tell ourselves that we can't. Oh, I can't do this pull-up. I can't do this. He just asked me to do my 100th push-up. I'm tired. Ben, I know you got this. Push through. It's in you. But you just got to tell yourself you can do it. That's it.
That's it. I think that's definitely 6 Fit. And that's why I love going to 6 Fit. I tell anybody when they're trying to get in their fitness goals, go to 6 Fit. Because it's really going to push you about wanting to see your goals. And if you really want to see your goals, go somewhere that's going to challenge you. And it's not just any fitness place that is, you know, okay, today's chest, today's legs, and then, you know, then send you home. No, it's definitely a community in there where it's an open space where everyone kind of they might have different workouts because, you know, Ric's on top of like everyone that comes for that hour. Like, who's doing what when, you know, it's crazy how well you handle that. But it's all a community because we're all seeing each other struggle, you know, at different times, whether you're more introverted, extroverted, it's still a community. And
absolutely. And that's exactly what I want to create. Cause like I said, even for myself, going to the gym growing up was tough. Cause it's just like, I'm an introvert and I'm like, yo, everybody's looking at me.
That's right.
Literally everybody's looking at me. I don't want to be here. There were days I would go to the gym and I'd get on the treadmill and be like, all right, that's it, I'm done.
I know that feeling.
I can't go over there. I got too many muscle heads. They're gonna pick up this little 15, 20 pound weight and be like, oh, look at this little kid. And I was like, yeah, I'm out. You know what I mean? So it's like I wanted to create just an atmosphere where people could come and just like not worry or care, like, yo, I'm with my peoples, but like you said, I may be introverted or extroverted, but we're here pushing through together. And you strike up random conversations about life, God, society, and you're like, yo, I never knew this person. I would make a connection with this person. Like, I know Ben's run with certain people at certain times. You're like, you strike up a conversation. You're like, yo, this is a cool person. You know, and it's just making connections and just almost like networking. But it's definitely a family-like atmosphere and a vibe.
I feel like it's definitely a form of fellowship in itself, which is why I was saying this is definitely your ministry, because it just happens so well. And I think your kind-heartedness in accepting and bringing people in a very vulnerable space. The gym is a very vulnerable space. No one wants to be honest about that, but it is. That
really
feeling,
is.
it's like you're watching me. I felt that. There were days I would run out the gym. So I get that. But the fact that you're able to create that and more people keep coming in is a testament to like, this is where you were supposed to be from the beginning. So that's
Correct.
awesome.
And like you said, it is a very, very vulnerable area because, you know, a lot of us, we're not where we want to be physically. And, you know, you're like, okay, I may have this fat pack here, and here goes Rick looking at me doing this exercise, and I could see him looking at my fat, and it's like, you feel like you're being judged.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, that's definitely not the atmosphere that I set to have. And I never fat shame anybody. I never skinny shame anybody. It's just like, yo, I get it. We're on a mission. I'm here. I'm being used. This is God's mission. I'm going to help however I can. And then sometimes, like I said, it doesn't necessarily need to be fitness related, because Ben we talk about everything and anything. You know what I mean? We've prayed together because you just never know what that person may need at that moment. And that's why I said, like, it's more, somebody said it the other day to me. She reminded me, she's like, yo, I just want to thank you for just being who you are, because 6 Fit is more than fitness. It's like, you're right. It is more than just fitness. It's fitness is a component of it, but it's definitely much more than fitness.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I would also say, if you're thinking about going to 6 Fit, check it out for sure.
Yep.
It's in Canton,
Yep.
Canton, Massachusetts, and no matter where you are, he's gonna take the time to learn where you're at, and then whatever your fitness goals are, he'll build you there slowly. It's not to try and get you there tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
It's about building your whole body, you know, strength wise, conditioning wise, to get to that point safely.
Safely.
For sure. Yeah, because I came back, you know, all my boys were talking trash all winter, and I didn't care. I was putting weight on. I was like, Big Daddy, I'm doing it. And then it was like, I was on Instagram one day, and I saw this dude in the gym shredded, and I was like, I'm back in the gym, dog. I don't care. I'm telling you, that's what it was, a switch I needed. I just needed to see something that gave me that motivation, because I didn't have it. I didn't care.
Yo, honestly,
And then I came back, and it's just been like,
it's been different. I applaud you, because this Ben that I see now compared to the different versions that I've seen in the past 5 years, I'm like, this time I'm like, all right, he's in it for real. I can see the different. I can see the switch has flipped, and he's focused. And I like this Ben.
Amen.
I'm not saying I didn't like
He's
past Ben.
like this one.
It's not saying, because in everything, like I said, it's more than fitness. Because we would talk about other things. Try to get Ben to get there on time. Like, Ben, take your health serious. Be on time. If you're on time for this, you're gonna be on time for other things. And that's why people come at me. Oh, how come you always trying to make us get on time? It's not. I do want y'all to be on time, but I want you to respect your time, but respect my time.
Absolutely.
But in every other aspect of life, you got to respect time. When you go to work, you clock in, and it's almost in essence, it's like God gives us allocates us a number of hours on that day. What are we doing with that time? Are we wasting it, or are we making use of what the time that has been given us? And you got to respect the time. And so it's like that also falls into play for other aspects of our life. If you respect your time, you're going to respect your body. You're going to respect how you look. You're going to respect what you put in it. You're going to respect what you watch and what you're listening to, the words you're speaking. Everything comes into play with each other. So that's why I said it's all encompassing. But a lot of us don't see that part.
yeah. We have two more questions for you, and then we're gonna go into some rapid fire
I
stuff. So, why is fitness so important?
Oh, why is fitness so important? I think when you asked me to do that post one time, I said, God gives us this body that we have. It's not ours. We're made in his image, perfect as is. We destroy it. Mm-hmm. We destroy it by the things we eat, things we drink, the things we put in it. So it's like, he's going to ask me, he's going to ask all of us here, what did you do with the body that I've given you on that day? And it's going to be like, well, I just kind of just let it wither away. So it's almost like, I don't know if you guys know the story of the talents, where he's given everybody. Our body is one of them. There's so many things us as humans we can do with our bodies that when we put our mind to, we see it. So it's like, what are we going to do with that? Fitness is also, it just encompasses everything. When we go through a lot of mental issues personally, ups and downs, traumas that we deal with from our past. And sometimes fitness just allows you to kind of just see those things differently, channel those different things, and just work on yourself. And we're always aiming to grow and be better versions of ourselves, and fitness is just a major part of that.
I really love that you mentioned, I've never thought about it, but the connection between talents and your bodies. I think it's easy for people to think of talents like money or a job or whatever have you. But the fact that you said, no, like one of those talents is your bodies. Like you were given this body, you have to steward over it accordingly. So I love that you said it like that. That's really awesome.
So who are you and who do you want to become?
Well, I would hope by now everybody kind of knows who I am.
No, just so outside of like what you've accomplished, like inside.
I'm a father.
Yeah.
I'm a dad. I love my kids. I will do anything for them. I'm a Christian. God is important to me in every aspect of my life. I'm a brother. Even as an only child, I'm a brother. You know, I'm an uncle. I have 5 guard kids. There's a reason why. You know what I mean? And my purpose in life is to impact somebody's life. I can remember at early age, I told myself, whenever I pass by somebody in the street, I'm going to say good morning or hi, smile, because I don't know what that smile or that good morning or how are you doing is going to change their day. That could be the day that person's like, this is it. Everybody's been ignoring me. I feel like crap. And then you just, hey, how you doing? You smile at that person. It could change your entire day. So I've always had that mindset, like I want to try to impact somebody's life any way possible, shape or form. If I have the money to help them, cool. If I get resources, if I have a word, just talking to them, reaching out to them, I'm there. I try to do my best just to make other people good. I am happiest when other people around me are good.
Still, who do you want to become?
Who do I want to become? Just continue to become an influencer. It doesn't necessarily have to just be fitness, just an influencer, somebody that can continue to impact other people's life in the right way, God-centered. You know, knowing that He's the ultimate goal is to get to heaven. So if I can help somebody get there by any means necessary, let's do it.
That's dope.
Amen.
So, 6 fits on, Ric Elien. Close to it?
No, you said it.
You said it.
It takes me a minute or two sometimes. I got Twangem right away.
He did.
I'm still trying to get that.
It's 2 syllables, guys. 2 syllables.
Yeah.
So we have the fitness guru.
She's always going to be Stacy without the E.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
Stacy.
Yep. No E, please.
No
Don't
E.
ever put an E in my name.
So thank you for being on the show.
For sure.
Thank you for being
Thank
here
you for
with
having
us.
me. Mm-hmm.
The motivator, the inspirer, the fitness guru, the father, the son, and all the other things you just said. We thank you. But we just had these rapid fire questions. Say, pick one or the other and go. And we're going to start with Jordan or it's Jordan or LeBron?
Jordan all day, every day.
Seriously?
Jordan.
Michael Jordan. Right?
All day.
Yeah, no, I respect that. I'm not mad at all.
All right. Is Steph top 5?
Nah, not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet.
Okay. Work or play?
Play.
Love or friendship?
Love.
Money or happiness?
Happiness.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
For sure. Summer or winter? Hey.
Stumped you.
No, it's not stumped.
She hates winter.
I'll go with summer.
Sure do.
You go with summer
Yeah.
for sure. Morning or evening?
Morning.
Salty or sweet?
Sweet.
Okay. Do you watch shows one episode at a time or you binge?
Yo, honestly, to be honest, I don't really watch shows.
No? I mean, you don't have time.
But I'm if I have to, I'll binge it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Shower at night or in the morning?
Both. In the summertime, you gotta do both.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
But like, if you was gonna pick one,
Yo, there's something relaxing about a shower in the evening after a long day. You just
That
need to
part.
just wash everything off.
That part.
yeah,
And then go to sleep.
I'm a
That
morning
part.
Just
shower.
wash everything off.
Definitely.
Like when I say just wash everything off.
Literally.
That's true. It helps you relax.
Yeah.
For sure. All right. Would you rather find your dream job or win the lottery?
Find my dream job.
Physical strength or mental?
Mental.
Are you into? You said that already. Expensive presents or homemade presents?
Homemade presents.
Do you prefer driving or flying?
Driving.
Man, you like quality time.
That's what I'm saying. These are all very quality time things.
I'm done.
No, I'm with the plane. Don't get me wrong,
I
but
got you.
with the right person,
For sure, yeah.
that drive,
It's
that's a
different.
good drive, man.
It
It's a
is.
vibe. We vibing.
Okay, are you more of a thinker or doer?
Thinker,
Okay, street smarts or book smarts?
street smarts.
Do you have anything?
And honestly, these are way more than I expected. So
Basketball
you
or
got
football?
Basketball all day, every
All
day.
day, every
Chocolate
day.
or vanilla?
Vanilla.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Ice
straight
cream?
up. Straight up.
My women chocolate. my ice cream vanilla.
I get that. Yeah, I don't like chocolate ice cream unless it's like made from a very specific. Anyway,
It's got to be high quality. Chocolate.
extremely,
Yeah.
extremely.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Isaiah, any quick question you got for him? This or that?
What do you mean?
Like the way he asked them.
Yeah.
Nah.
No, you good. All right. Do you have any questions for us?
No, I love what y'all do, man. To be honest, I've heard a few of the podcasts. You guys continue doing your thing. And I like the dynamic, the mixture. So it's not just like all men or all women. It's just we got our young dude. We got Stace holding it down for the females, and Ben and Chris.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys doing your thing. Love it. It's dope.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Well, thank you. Another round of applause for Rick being on the show.
Hey, thank you.
And on that note,
Peace.
peace. Thank you for listening to the Follow and Lead podcast. You can reach us on social media at
The email is followthenleadinc@gmail.com, Instagram, Follow Then Lead Podcast, and our Twitter is Follow Then Lead P. Until next time,
take it easy.
word.